Let me take you back to last October, our 10th anniversary. I'd booked a lake house, 2 hours from the city. Firewood stacked, playlist queued, steaks marinating. Real husband of the year stuff. I even bought her a necklace with a little compass charm. So you'll never forget where home is, I told her. Sentimental? Sure, but not soft. She was late getting home from work. Said the marketing meeting ran long. Showed up flushed, hair messy, and smelling like sandalwood cologne that definitely wasn't mine. I raised an eyebrow. She kissed my cheek and said, "Don't start." That was Monica, my wife of 10 years. Blonde, ambitious, the kind of woman who didn't just walk into a room. She entered it like a headline. People noticed. Men stared. And I used to think, lucky me. What a fool. Anyway, I didn't say anything that night. Not then. But I noticed. I always noticed. We drove to the lake house in silence. She fiddled with her phone the whole time. Said she was finalizing a campaign. I said nothing because I already knew she wasn't texting the office. She had a work phone for that. At the house, I grilled the steaks while she took a nap. Her phone buzzed 5 times in the first 10 minutes. I flipped the steak. I flipped another. Then I walked over, opened the bedroom door, and asked, "Hey, Monica, you want me to answer your boyfriend, or should I let it go to voicemail again?" She didn't even flinch, just blinked, then said, "That's not funny." "Oh, I'm not laughing," I said. "Not yet." She didn't respond, just rolled over and pulled the blanket over her shoulder. Now, most men would be crushed right there. The moment they realize the woman they built their life with is probably warming someone else's bed in between candlelit client meetings. But me? I smiled. Because if she thought I was the fool in this marriage, she was about to learn the hard way. I don't lose. I just wait until it's my turn. The next morning, I woke up early and drove to the nearest cafe with Wi-Fi. Opened my laptop. Spent 3 hours building something I called the Patience Project. It had folders, timelines, notes, names. Because I wasn't just going to catch her cheating. I was going to outplay her. And that was just the start. Now I'll admit, I'm not some master hacker or private investigator with night vision goggles and a fake mustache. I'm just a guy who pays attention. And the thing about Monica? She got comfortable. Comfortable people get sloppy. The first breadcrumb was her smartwatch. She synced it to her email for work alerts, but forgot to turn off the previews. So every time she got a text, it lit up like a Vegas slot machine. Tuesday morning, I saw a message flash while she was brushing her teeth. "Last night was worth the risk. You taste like trouble." Nice. Poetic. A little cliché. Still, points for confidence. She came back into the room like nothing happened, wrapped in a towel, humming. Humming. I sipped my coffee like I hadn't just been handed a blueprint for revenge. She bent down to kiss me. I kissed her back. Warm. Patient. Because I wasn't going to confront her. I was going to document her. That day, I bought a second phone and installed a keylogger on our shared computer. Synced it with a cloud drive she didn't know about. Every password she typed, every file she opened, it all came to me. I even installed a motion cam in my garage gym, disguised inside an old speaker, because I'd noticed she started working out when I wasn't home. At first, I thought she was just taking her health seriously. Then I found a towel in the laundry room that reeked of aftershave and guilt. So, enter the camera. Later that week, the speaker cam caught something interesting. She wasn't with the mystery man yet, but she called him. I watched the footage like a scientist watches a rat maze. She said his name was Jared. Not babe, not honey, not code name 007. Just Jared. With the same bored tone she used to say, "We're out of eggs." But then, she said this. "He's still clueless. He's making me dinner tonight." God, I almost feel bad. Almost. I paused the footage, rewound it, replayed that line 3 times. God, I almost feel bad. Let me tell you something. You never feel closer to a woman than the moment she's describing how easily she lies to you behind your back. So what did I do? I made her dinner. Ribeye, roasted garlic mash, and asparagus with that lemon zest she loves. I lit a candle. I poured her wine. And I made sure her smartwatch was in full view while I sent a message to the cloud server titled, "Operation Jared." She complimented the steak. I said, "Glad you like it." What I didn't say? That I just printed out a copy of every text between her and Jared from the last 3 months and stashed them in my safe. And by the way, that wasn't the only surprise I had in store. Because Jared wasn't just a fling. He was a coworker. And guess who just accepted a consulting gig with Monica's company? Yours truly. Because if Monica was going to set a fire, I was going to hand her the match and then build a fireplace around it. You ever walk into a room and know, instantly, you're smarter than everyone there? That was me, Wednesday morning, sitting in the conference room of Ridge and Holt Marketing as the new data integration consultant, a fancy title for, I know stuff your IT guy's too lazy to check. Monica hadn't seen me yet. She was running late. Typical. But Jared? Jared was already there. Now let me paint this masterpiece for you. He had that painfully clean haircut, like he asked for executive douchebag at the barber. Like he spends more time at golf courses than actual desks. Wearing cologne you could smell through drywall. He strutted into the room with a Yeti coffee mug and a Bluetooth headset still in his ear, even though he wasn't on a call. Textbook. I looked up from my laptop, offered a nod. Morning. He flashed a grin that probably worked better on interns. Hey, you the new guy? Ben, right? Something like that, I said. Data analysis and back-end systems. I'm here for a few weeks to help overhaul your client sinks. Sweet. I hate that stuff. He dropped into the seat across from me, pulled out his phone, and started texting. I leaned back and watched him. I wondered, is that her? Is he telling her I'm boring? That I fold my socks? I imagined his phone lighting up with some flirty message from my wife. Maybe even a photo. And I felt nothing. No rage. No grief. Just the thrill of proximity. I wasn't watching this movie anymore. I was in it. 10 minutes later, Monica walked in. She froze when she saw me. I smiled. Mon, I said smoothly. You're late. She blinked. What are you doing here? Oh, didn't they tell you? I said, standing up, walking toward her like this was all business. I'm consulting. Small world, huh? She gave the fakest laugh I've ever heard. That's wow. Yeah, small. Jared looked up, confused. You two know each other? Monica hesitated. He's my husband. That word landed like a thrown dish. Jared's head whipped toward me. You're married to, wait, you're Monica's husband? I extended my hand. Nice to meet you, Jared. His grip was weak. Sweaty. I leaned in just a little and added, low enough that only he could hear. Don't worry. I'm not the jealous type. And I swear, his left eye twitched. For the rest of that meeting, neither of them said much. Jared fumbled through a PowerPoint like a guy reading it for the first time. Monica kept darting glances at me, like I was holding a grenade she couldn't see the pin on. She was right, because I wasn't just there to see them squirm. I was there to learn. By the end of that week, I'd have access to Jared's files, his internal emails, and every one of Monica's project logs. And buddy, you'd be amazed what people put in Slack messages when they think no one's watching. It's funny how quickly people return to pretending. The day after I revealed myself at Ridge and Holt, Monica came home like she hadn't just been caught in a bad improv sketch called My Husband, the surprise coworker. She poured herself a glass of wine and asked if I'd seen the new project calendar in ShareSync. ShareSync. As if we were back to being just two professionals collaborating in an office, and not two people stuck in a marriage with the emotional temperature of a meat locker. I played along. Oh yeah, I said. Saw the whole schedule. Real efficient. Jared's layout was, I let the pause linger, bold. She stiffened, just slightly. But like always, she recovered fast. She was good at that, being unfazed, being in control. Her strength had always been her confidence. But confidence can be a blindfold, especially when you've underestimated the person sitting across the dinner table. What Monica didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that while they were busy whispering sweet nothings over project decks and double-booking hotel rooms on networking trips, I was syncing Jared's laptop to my Shadow server using the same file migration tool he recommended in last week's meeting. Thanks, Jared. By Thursday, I had his entire work directory cloned. Personal folder included. Password, RedJeep87. A man that predictable deserves whatever's coming. It didn't take long before I struck gold. There it was, in a folder called Stuff, because apparently subtlety isn't Jared's strong suit. Screenshots. Notes. A PDF titled Exit Plan, Q1.docs. Oh yes, she was planning her escape. In her words, once the equity vests in February, I'll tell Mark it's over. That gives us time to wrap up the Anderson account and secure the Paris bid. Jared will help with the transition narrative. He's on board. Transition narrative, she called it. My marriage had a PR campaign. I sat there staring at those words with a grin that wouldn't leave my face. Not because it didn't hurt. It did. But because she was planning a clean break. A graceful little bow tied on top of a detonated life. And I couldn't wait to untie it. Now, here's the thing about being underestimated. You can walk around invisible. I went to work like nothing had changed. I smiled at Jared in the break room. I held the elevator for Monica like we weren't both carrying a full arsenal behind our polite nods. But I started leaving traces. Nothing obvious. Just enough. Monday morning, Jared opened his briefcase in the conference room and found a note. No envelope. Just 5 typed words on clean white paper. She lies to you too. He paled like someone had slipped arsenic in his protein shake. He looked around the room, eyes darting. I was across the table. Everything okay, Jared? I asked, looking concerned. You look like you've seen a ghost. He crumpled the paper and shoved it in his pocket. Yeah, fine. Just didn't sleep well. Same here, I said, sipping my coffee. Rough dreams lately. He didn't respond. Monica wasn't in that day. Out sick. Probably nursing guilt-induced vertigo or just hiding out while she triple-checked her digital trail. But it didn't matter. I wasn't trying to scare them off yet. I was setting a tone. Later that week, I walked into our bedroom. Yes, I was still living at home. What can I say? I enjoy theater, and saw Monica's phone charging on the nightstand. She was in the shower. I tapped it on. No passcode. She used Face Unlock, but I'd seen her punch in her fallback pin a dozen times. For digits. 0104, her birthday. I scrolled through her messages and wasn't surprised to find that most of their real communication happened on Signal. She thought she was clever, deleting the app after each text, reinstalling it when needed. Too bad her backup files didn't lie. I synced her iCloud when she gave me access to fix her email 2 years ago. Thanks for the invite, honey. I read the messages. Jared, you still sure about February? Monica, 100%. He's so distracted. I don't think he even suspects. Jared, I want to wake up with you. Monica, soon. I looked in the mirror and laughed. Distracted, huh? She didn't know the man she was married to was already mapping out her soft exit ramp like a general reviewing battle plans. I'd read every invoice she filed, tracked every meeting location she listed, and matched it with Uber receipts she forgot were shared on our joint account. I knew what hotel rooms they used. I knew what fake names Jared used when booking the rooms. Jay Reed, by the way, very Jason Bourne. I even knew what bottle of wine they liked to share. Malbec, 2017. She always said she hated reds. Guess she changed. A week before Christmas, Monica finally cracked. We were sitting on the couch, watching some holiday rom-com that neither of us cared about, when she muted the volume and said, "Is there something you're not telling me?" I smiled. Like what? I don't know. You've been different lately. Oh. I leaned forward. How so? She narrowed her eyes. You're calm. Too calm. It's fascinating how people become suspicious when you stop reacting. Like silence is a betrayal. Well, I said, reaching for a handful of popcorn. Maybe I've just accepted the things I cannot change. She said nothing. The silence between us was heavier than any argument. Finally, she stood. I'm going to bed. Sweet dreams. After she was asleep, I went into the guest room, my new base of operations, and opened my laptop. I clicked on the file I'd been building since the lake house. The dossier, the receipts, the footage, the voice memos, a complete archive of 2 people too arrogant to hide properly. And then I opened a second file, labeled Plan Z, because I wasn't just going to expose them. I was going to replace them in every room they thought they owned. But that's for next time. Because tomorrow was Jared's birthday, and I had a very special gift planned. The thing about birthdays is they're supposed to feel special. You're not expecting retribution wrapped in a bow. But then again, Jared didn't expect me. His birthday fell on a Friday, which meant Monica came to work dressed like it was her personal red carpet. Tight black dress, high heels that clicked like gunshots down the hallway, and a smile she probably practiced in the mirror. Not for me, obviously. For him. At 9:14 a.m., she sent Jared a text. I saw it ping his watch during the staff meeting. Lunch at Haven. My treat. Just us. I was 3 chairs away. Didn't react. Didn't need to. I was already ahead of them. See, what they didn't know was that I had lunch plans, too. Just not at Haven. At precisely 9:43 a.m., a courier walked into the Ridge and Holt lobby carrying a sleek black gift bag with a silver ribbon. Looked expensive. Polished. Clean. It was addressed to Jared Thomas Reed, for the man who already has everything, except a conscience. He opened it in the break room, crowd forming fast, curious eyes peering over shoulders. Inside, 3 items. A framed 5x7 photo of Jared and Monica, taken at the Westbridge Hotel lobby, her hand in his, timestamp clearly visible in the corner. A USB drive labeled Highlights Reel. And a card. Plain. White. Inside it read, "Happy birthday, Jared. Enjoy the show. Tell Monica she looks great in red." He stared at the photo like it might catch fire. His skin went pale, then red, then pale again. He glanced around like the walls were closing in. I walked in, holding a coffee. Nodded. "Happy birthday," I said casually. "Hope it's a memorable one." He didn't speak, just shoved the gift bag into his satchel like it had venom inside. But the damage? Already done. Now let's talk about the highlights reel. It wasn't crude or malicious. I'm not that guy. What it was, however, was devastatingly precise. 10 minutes of silent footage, no audio, stitched together with timestamps and location overlays. Monica and Jared at hotels, at marketing retreats, at that one client dinner that ran late. It ended with a shot of Monica sitting in her car outside our house, laughing on the phone. Zoomed. Focused. Her face said it all. I'd spent months collecting it, organizing it, refining it. A reel of moments she thought existed in shadows, now lit up like a crime scene under UV light. And Jared? He watched it. Alone. In his car. Right before lunch. Because Monica never made it to Haven. He bailed. Texted her. Not feeling well. Rain check. She showed up anyway. Sat alone at a table for 2, trying not to look like she'd just been ghosted by her own affair. Me? I was across the street, watching from a window seat with a bowl of French onion soup and an unshakable smile. The next day, Jared didn't show up to work. The day after that, he handed in his resignation due to personal reasons. Monica didn't speak to me for 48 hours straight. But I wasn't done. See, that little gift wasn't just a shot across the bow. It was a psychological chess move, because now she knew I knew. And I wasn't yelling, or crying, or packing bags. I was doing something, which is exactly what terrified her. 3 days later, she broke the silence. We were sitting in the kitchen. She was drinking tea, flipping through a magazine like the pages made sense. "Did you send him something?" she asked, without looking up. "Who?" "You know who." I sipped my coffee. "People get all kinds of gifts. It's his birthday." She closed the magazine. "Mark." I looked at her, long and steady. "What exactly do you think I did?" I asked. She didn't answer, just sat there, jaw tight, staring at the marble counter like it had betrayed her too. "You've been watching us," she finally said. Not a question, a fact. "I watched a lot of things," I replied. "Patterns. Passwords. Lies." She opened her mouth, closed it. "You had a plan," I continued. "February, right? The exit strategy? After your stock vests." Silence. "Mark, you were going to leave me," I said. "But do it clean. On your timeline. When it made sense for your career." She swallowed. "I was trying to spare you." I laughed. "Oh, thank you for sparing me. What a generous queen you are." That stung. I could see it. But not enough. She finally asked the question I'd been waiting for. "What do you want?" I leaned back. "Monica, I don't want to hurt you." She blinked. Confused. "I want you to understand what it feels like. To be played. To be underestimated. To look someone in the eye every morning and wonder what version of them you're getting that day." She shook her head. "So what? This is revenge." I smiled. "Oh, sweetheart. This isn't revenge. This is the setup." She went pale. Because now she finally realized, whatever she thought I'd done, I'd only just started. 2 days after the birthday incident, Monica started waking up before me. That was new. For 10 years, I was always first out of bed, coffee brewed, mail brought in, routine humming like clockwork. But suddenly she was up early, hair brushed, laptop open, fingers moving fast like she was trying to sweep her tracks clean before daylight hit them. Cute, but pointless. Because by then, I wasn't just 10 steps ahead. I'd already crossed the finish line. You see, while she was busy scrubbing her inbox and deleting Signal from her phone for the 3rd time, I was finalizing the paperwork on a little side project I'd been building for months, a private LLC. The name? Compass Hollow Group. A nod to the necklace I gave her last year. Ironic, I know. This wasn't some fake company or decoy operation. I built it for real, client roster, website, legal filings, everything. It was clean, quiet, and technically untraceable to me unless you knew where to look. And Monica? Monica was about to apply for a director role there, because I'd already offered it to her. Anonymously. Let me explain. 3 weeks prior, I posed as a recruiter using a fake email, created a company that looked like it existed halfway between ambitious startup and Silicon Valley darling, and sent a private message to her work inbox. We've been tracking your performance at Ridge and Holt. You've made quite the impression, especially on the Paris account. Our founder is extremely interested in speaking with you directly. Hook, line, and ego. She responded the same day. Tell me more. Of course she did. I led her along slowly, like feeding steak to a hungry lion. The job? Remote flexibility. Salary increase. Director-level status. Oh, and an option to cash out her Ridge and Holt shares early by rolling them into Compass Hollow. That part sealed it. She was ready to jump ship faster than rats off the Titanic. She never suspected the man offering her a glamorous escape was the same man who'd been folding her laundry with gritted teeth for the last 8 months. What Monica didn't realize was, this wasn't an opportunity. This was a vault. And the moment she signed the NDA and transferred her data access from Ridge and Holt to Compass Hollow, she handed me the key. Let's talk about that moment. Friday afternoon, 3:12 p.m., she sat at the dining table with a glass of Cabernet and clicked send on her signed offer letter. I was upstairs in the guest room, watching the cloud sync happen in real time. Client lists, contracts, NDA violations, proprietary pitch decks, everything Ridge and Holt would fire her for and sue her over in a heartbeat. I'd warned her once, years ago, when she was gossiping over Chardonnay. Don't ever move proprietary stuff between companies. You'll get shredded for that. She rolled her eyes and said, everyone does it. You just don't get caught. Well, Monica, gotcha. That night at dinner, she was glowing. She didn't say anything, too cagey for that, but I could tell. The fork taps, the slightly too high laugh, the way she said, pass the salt, like she'd just secured global domination. You seem chipper, I said. She shrugged. Just a good week. I nodded. Well, I'm happy for you. And I was. Because she was about to learn the definition of collapse. I made my move Monday morning. She was already at work. I dressed, had breakfast, and drove downtown, same building as her office. But I didn't go to Ridge and Holt. I went upstairs. To legal. I met with an attorney I'd been coordinating with for weeks. I laid it all out. Monica's NDA, the signed transfer documents, the client data migration, the conflict of interest between her and Jared. Yes, HR loved that part. And of course, the kicker, her resignation letter, which I had already drafted under her name. I had it scheduled to send at 2 p.m. that day, from her company email. I walked out of that office smiling like a man who'd finally dropped the anvil. When Monica got home, I was in the backyard grilling. She stepped outside like she didn't know anything had happened, like she hadn't been called into HR at 2:10, asked about unusual external solicitations, and put on immediate administrative leave. She had the nerve to sit down and say, smells good. What's the occasion? I flipped the steak. Celebrating a resignation, I said. She stiffened. I turned, smiled. Yours. The color drained from her face. What? Oh, it's been submitted. Officially. You'll get the follow-up tomorrow. They may even let you keep your plant. She stared at me like I'd slapped her with a brick. You set me up. No, Monica, I said calmly. You set you up. I just documented it. She stormed inside. I didn't follow. Just stood there with a plate of medium rare justice, letting the grill hiss under a sky that had never looked so clean. Later that night, she said nothing. Packed a small bag. I watched her walk past me, jaw tight, mascara already smudging. At the door, she paused. I'll come back for the rest, she said. I shook my head. No, you won't. She looked at me like I wasn't the man she married. Which is funny, because I'm not. That man died somewhere between her deleted texts and Jared's smug little grin. What remained was the man who turned betrayal into architecture. Monica didn't come home that night. No dramatic text. No apology. Just silence. I'd half expected her to blow up my phone. But maybe even she knew that when a house burns down, you don't call the fire. The next morning, I sent a final email to Ridge and Holt's executive board. It wasn't dramatic, just detailed. Subject, conflict of interest, Monica Keller and Jared Reed. Attached were timelines, financial overlaps, proof of their working dinners, and, for good measure, a chart showing the company's internal data being transferred to a now-defunct LLC. Compass Hollow. Yeah, I shut the whole thing down right after I got what I needed. Burned the bridge. Lit the match. By noon, Monica was terminated officially. Jared? Oh, he'd already resigned voluntarily. But now the board flagged him for pending legal action. The cherry on top? A press release went out the following week about internal restructuring. Their names were scrubbed from the company's site before dinner. That's when I knew. They were done. But I wasn't. I waited exactly 5 days. That's how long it took for the Whisper network to light up. Mutual friends, clients. Monica's yoga instructor, even her old college roommate who still drank boxed rose and lived on Facebook. They all reached out. Some subtle, "Hey, is everything okay between you two?" Some not. Monica just DM'd me asking if I could vouch for her to a recruiter. What's going on? And a few were downright blunt. She blew up her whole life over that idiot? I thought you guys were solid. So did I? Which is why I took the liberty of creating a little website. Nothing slanderous. Just informative. It featured a professional timeline of Monica's career moves, screenshots of her most ambitious messages, a copy of her resignation email, a redacted version of her affair calendar, labeled "Working Late, a Strategic Breakdown." I didn't post her full name, but I didn't have to. Everyone close enough already knew. The site was titled Case Study, Exit Strategy, and it got shared. Fast. I never claimed it was her. I never said a word. But truth? It doesn't need a narrator. It just needs a flashlight. And Monica had walked into a minefield holding a sparkler. Monica finally called. Blocked number. Voice low. Shaky. You win. I didn't gloat. That's not how you close a story like this. I never wanted to win, I said. I wanted honesty. You humiliated me. No, Monica. You did that. I just hit record. Silence. Then, the real question. What happens now? Now, I admit, this is the part where you expect the revenge arc to end. Where I say something noble. Something poetic. Maybe I walk away, call it even. But here's the thing. I'm not even. Because for 10 years, I gave her everything. Loyalty. Patience. My time. My trust. And she cashed that in for a flirt with a jawline and a parking pass. So no, I wasn't going to burn her house down. I was going to buy it. And I did. Literally. 6 months ago, we bought a vacation property together. Beachside, joint title, split investment. Guess who bought out her half when she needed quick liquidity to pay her lawyer? Me. Guess what I turned it into? A rental property. Guess what I named it? The Red Flag Inn. Subtle? No. Satisfying. Immeasurably. Monica disappeared for a while. Word got around that she moved back in with her sister. She tried freelancing, but couldn't shake the reputation. A woman with ambition and zero discretion doesn't go far in boutique marketing. Last I heard, she was interviewing for remote jobs under a new name. Jared? Rumor has it he moved to Austin. Started a coaching podcast. Something about power moves and alpha mindset. No subscribers. No shock. As for me, I'm good. I sleep fine. I've got a clean place, a quiet mind, and a solid blender that no longer smells like her weird kale experiments. People ask me if I'd ever take her back. I laugh. Not bitter. Not cruel. Just done. Because revenge isn't screaming into the void or keying someone's car. Revenge is clarity. Revenge is success delivered with silence. Revenge is sitting on your porch, sipping coffee from your favorite mug, the one she hated, and hearing your phone buzz with a notification that another weekend booking just hit. The Red Flag Inn. Booked. Solid. Again. And that's how you bury a betrayal. With receipts. And a smile.